Hello lovely viewers, today we will be cooking Khachapuri. Adjara is the region situated in southwestern part of Georgia and it lies on the coast of the Black Sea. That's why Khachapuri has the form of the boat and the egg yolk represents the sun and good weather for salesmen. So this is the legend behind this Khachapuri and let's get started. So we will be needing following ingredients: 2 cups of flour, this is approximately 300 grams, some dry yeast, some salt, some sugar, milk, 2/3 of the cup, water, 1/3 of the cup, some oil, and some flour for mixing. All these ingredients are for the dough. For the fillings, we will be needing 500 grams of cheese. For 2 Khachapuri, we will be cooking 2 portions. This is half feta and half mozzarella. We will be needing little amount of butter for each Khachapuri and 1 egg for each. So let's start with the dough. In my bowl I put my milk, 2/3 of cup, and water, 1/3 of cup, and together they make 1 cup of liquid. Oh yeah, before putting them into a bowl, warm up your milk and your water a little bit, but not too much. This is necessary for the yeast to be dissolved easily and grow faster. I put 2 teaspoons of dry yeast. 1 teaspoon is approximately 5 grams, so we totally need 10 grams of yeast. Then I put half a teaspoon of salt and also half a teaspoon of sugar. Sugar is necessary for the yeast to grow. And I mix it. Then I add 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. Mix again, and this goes into our 2 cups of flour. So the recipe is very simple: 2 cups of flour mixed with 1 cup of liquid, which is water and milk, makes dough for 2 Khachapuris. As usual, I start mixing with spoon and then I switch to a hand. Don't forget to put flour on your hands while mixing. Mix it for several minutes and then cover it with plastic and let it sit for 1.5 or 2 hours. The warmer it is in your house, the less time it needs for the dough to grow. After 1.5 hours, the dough looks like this. Put some flour on your fingers and remove it carefully from edges, always adding some more flour on your fingers. Work on the dough for some minutes more and then split it into 2, as this dough is for 2 Khachapuris. I'm using a parchment paper as a working space to stretch the dough, and I'm going to use the same parchment paper to form Khachapuri on it and put it on a tray together with the parchment paper. If you would have formed your Khachapuri on a table, you would have had a hard time transferring it on a tray without a parchment paper. So I stretch the dough first with my hands and then with the roller, always using extra flour. And try to give it a shape of rectangular/oval. And then use the knife and cut the edges to give it more rectangular kind of shape, always dipping knife into flour again. And then we can start putting the cheese. Put the cheese close to the edges the way it is presented in the video. Take the edges of the dough and flip them over the cheese carefully, first from one side and then from another side. Take the other edges of the dough and bring them together and flip them over very gently 2 or 3 times. And give the Khachapuri the shape of the boat with your hands. Put half portion of your cheese, 250 grams, in Khachapuri, and this is going to perfectly cover the bottom. Place Khachapuri on a tray with the parchment paper very gently and remove the excess parchment paper if you have it. Place your Khachapuri on the lowest possible shelf in your preheated oven of 250 degrees Celsius. In around 15 minutes it will be ready, but not completely. Take it out from the oven. Dig the hole with the spoon in the center and break in your egg. Try not to break the egg yolk. And put it back into the oven for exactly 2 minutes. After taking it out from the oven, put a generous amount of butter in it before it is still hot, and voila, khachapuri is ready. Very appetizing. Eating khachapuri is the whole culture. Before you start eating, you have to mix this egg and butter and cheese together. In public places, some people do it with forks. But if you really want to eat for your comfort, cut one edge of khachapuri and mix it all together with this edge, and then bring it directly to your mouth. And then you have to continue cutting the edges and dip them in the center and eat them. Well, in the end, when there are no edges left, you can switch to fork and knife. But in the end. So it was very nice to cook for you, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.